My name's Taylor and I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Taylor.
Thank you, John. That was nice. It's nice to hear people say good things about me up here. So I'm so nervous. Bear with me. My sobriety date is September 7th, 2021. I have a sponsor. His name's Brian G. My home group is Empire Way. I have a service commitment. And I'm going to read a little bit from the big book. So page 24, third paragraph, says the almost certain consequences that follow taking even a glass of beer do not crowd into the mind to deter us. If these thoughts occur, they are hazy and readily supplanted with the old threadbare idea that this time we shall handle ourselves like other people. There is a complete failure of the kind of defense that keeps one from putting his hand on a hot stove. And I'm telling you that when I first read this, it was one of those moments where you feel like the book's being written about you, but they don't know you. Because that has pretty much characterized my entire teenage years and up until a year ago. My first drink was at 13, needles at 16, and I was real off the rails very, very quickly. And one thing that I found at the time separated me from other people is that I used wildly, but I also kept getting sober every couple weeks. I would put myself in rehab, beg my parents to help me one more time, because I couldn't stomach living this way. And then I go to rehab and come out and I think, well, I could just do this or that, and maybe I won't use this, I'll just use that. And that ate up like 12 years of just doing in and out, thinking, okay, I can handle this one, but not that one. And there's another part in the big book where it talks about, winning the game. And that is me to a T, like relentless at thinking that some way, somehow, I'll be able to find a middle ground where I won't have to go to AA and I won't have to be homeless. My first meeting was at 15 and I loved it. And I had 6 months where I felt like, oh my God, there are other people like me. Because at the time I thought that I was, there was like something like clinically wrong with me. For a while I thought my parents were hiding it from me to not make me feel bad. But I knew that there had to be something like mentally impairing me for me to behave like this. And then I found AA and kind of figured out, oh, I'm just an alcoholic. And that was great for a little bit. And then I quickly went back out and resolved that I'm never going to do the AA thing again because I'm not like you guys. Like, I can't be sober. Maybe I could not use needles or not be a homeless bum stealing from everyone, but to be sober, I just am not. I'm too weak. I'm too frail. I'm not built like that. You guys can do it, but I can't. I'm telling you, I've tried every single way and every way that I could fathom, and it always takes me to the same place of crawling back into AA, explaining myself to my sponsor, feeling sorry, then feeling hopeful, but being too lazy to really put enough work in to sustain this. So about a year ago, about 16 months ago, I was committing crimes to fuel my addiction and thinking I was doing okay because I'm financially independent with other people's finances, basically, but and thinking I'm okay. I got something figured out, my mom's not taking care of me. I can tell her I'm doing good. She knows I'm not doing good. I sound crazy on the phone, but I wasn't using the one thing that I know I know gets the best of me. And I decided that I couldn't sleep. I took a little sleeping pill because it's not that thing. And I woke up a couple days later in my girlfriend's car, driving around with drugs and a gun and no license, and wondering, whoa, what happened here? And I knew in my heart that the police were coming now. And they weren't coming. But but I knew they were coming. And I drove home and I hit my knees and I begged God, if you just get me out of this one, please, I'll go back to AA. And that's the first time I've ever said that to God. And I'll do the right thing, you know. And I still thought they were coming, but something kind of happened where I had a little hope. Like I was like, okay, if I just go back to AA, I'll be okay. And so I called my sponsor. I went to a meeting in Empire Way, me and Peeps, John's home group, my home group, and I did something that I haven't done in 10 years, which is I came back when I said I would. You know, I always say I'll see you next week, and I don't do it. And I did it this time. And one day turned into another, and I just had a year on a couple weeks ago on the 7th. And I haven't ever had more than 6 months. I have 16 inpatients, 10 sponsors, you know. I had a couple sponsees at one point, but I just never could make it this far, you know. And I made a promise to God. You know, I know I'm not supposed to bargain with God, but I did it, and He's keeping up His end of the bargain. You know, today, my life is radically different than it was back then. I have a job that I show up for. I have a family that I'm allowed to see. You know, I'm allowed to go into my mother's home. I'm allowed to, when they're not there, which is crazy, because I wasn't allowed to go there when they were there. You know, I have a beautiful relationship with my little brother. I have a job that I really like. Like I always thought work was for you people. Like I can't do that. I'm not built like you, you know, and I enjoy my job. I feel fulfillment out of my job. And I've never felt fulfillment from anything except alcohol for a brief moment. You know, I get to drive my grandma around and take care of her. I get to pay my own rent, pay my car, you know, pay my car insurance. I get to live a normal civilian life. And it's breathtaking to me. And it's as a direct result of this program, because I've tried, and believe me, I've tried every way but this program, and I've never made it half this far. And today, I work the steps of my sponsor. I have a service commitment that I show up for. I pray when I'm in trouble. I pray when I'm not in trouble. And it's wild to me. If you're someone like me, this is a miracle, you know, and it's crazy to be able to, you know, I used to like throw up before I'd have to do this and this panel thing, you know, and today I can do it and just stutter a little bit, you know, like my life is just incredible as a result of this program. You know, I just had a year a little bit ago, and I have always thought that when I would see other people taking a year that they're faking it. Like there's no way, you know? And if they do have a year, they're just not like me. Because there's no way you can really be like me and have a year, let alone 5 or 10 or something, you know? And with that same frame of thought, I always thought if I could get to a year, all my problems would go. Because it's, you know, by then, it'll be all figured out. And it's not that way yet. You know, like on the outside, I have everything I could have asked for when I got sober. Everything. Like I'm financially secure off my own finances. I'm not going to jail. I don't have any court. Like my life is kind of put together. My credit is kind of okay. You know, that's God, you know. But inside, it's not always that way, you know, and I still struggle with the same problems, the same anxiety, that feeling of not being among us, you know, not being like the rest of the people around me, you know, not fitting in or not being good enough or whatever, you know. And since, you know, I've had probably the hardest month this last month out of the whole year. Maybe the first month was harder, but you know, I had a couple months where it was pretty smooth. Things were real. I'm like, okay, I'm getting the hang of this. And the last month has just not been like that. And I think that delusion of that one day I'll make it to where I'm like cured, you know, I'm well, I'm good, is once again being smashed. That like this is something that I have to work on forever. And it seems like the longer I stay sober, the more work is required, which is a little counterintuitive to me because I always thought at this point I'll be cozy, I'll be comfy, you know. And if that's a place that you get to, I'm definitely not there yet, you know. And I don't know if I want to be a place where I'm cozy and comfortable, because I don't think that's sustainable for a person like me. So what do I do in these bad months or bad weeks? Is the same thing that got me here in the beginning, which is go to meetings, pray. I call my sponsor. I have real friendships with other men today, which is a crazy thing for me, who I can call and rely on and share my burden or my weight with, you know. I've found a way to live with the grief that I experienced, you know, the trauma of different things that I experienced in my youth, you know, that really haunted me through my whole life, really, and would be the things that I would justify drinking with, you know. And I found a way to sleep at night and survive myself, survive my own youth, survive my hauntings and demons, you know. And the solution is the same thing it was on my first day, and probably the same thing it was before I even got sober, you know, that I just wouldn't latch onto, which is having a relationship with a power greater than myself, and having one that I can rely on, even though it's turbulent at times and I feel disconnected at times, you know. It's still all that I really have today, you know. And as a result of that, I have a normal life that I dreamed of, more than I dreamed of, you know. And the promises made in this book and by the other people around me that when I came in have come true. You know, like I was not promised to be happy or that everything's going to be cool or fun or you're going to love your life or none of that. But I was told that I could find a way to live that was different than what I've been doing. And I found that here, you know. So yeah, I mean, thank you for allowing me to speak. I'm grateful to AA for giving me a life, you know, and thank you guys for listening.